Okay, this is a tutorial by Raymond Chua on how to do basic Milky Way editing from a raw file to the finished product. When you have a launch of Photoshop, first thing you need to do is to click File, Open, and navigate to the file you want. And the file I want happened to be file number 1050. You can choose any file, but I just happen to pick this one. Okay, what you see now is unedited raw files of this photo with the Milky Way, a little bit faint but still visible, but with some blemishes like plane trail and some kind of a foreign object there, which we have to remove later. First step is you look at under the first panel, the light panel, where the exposure is a top slider. You increase the exposure a bit first to something like 1.5. Okay, no particular number in mind, but as long as it looks brighter. Then you go to contrast, increase a little bit. Then also at the color panel there, I like the photo to be slightly on the blue tint, bluish color, so I want to slide the slider to the left, and it looks slightly better. To me, I think its blue tint is slightly better. And finally, on the effect panel, the slider which I'll be using is dehaze, and drag the dehaze button to the right. A fair amount, maybe about 50, 60. I think it's quite reasonable. Okay, so now the Milky Way is a bit more obvious now. Okay, may like to increase the exposure a wee bit. Okay, that's all we need to do with this panel. We don't have to do too much. Click open and let it open in Photoshop. Pardon me of the grids there, so which I switch off. Okay, now what you see is a background layer, which was the file we just edited and now open in Photoshop. In order to protect this layer, we are not going to disturb the original background layer. I do a Ctrl J to duplicate another copy, so I can work on this copy. In the event that I'm not happy, I can delete that copy and still be back to my background. So that's a good practice. So on the layer 1, which is the duplicate copy, I will go to the half black half white adjustment at the icon at the bottom. So I click that and it comes up with a panel, and you can select curves. Once you selected the curves, you see this histogram, and what we're going to modify is modify this straight line to based on what we are after. So the way to do it is activate the hand tool, bring the cursor in, it becomes an eyedropper, and go to the brightest part of the Milky Way, click, and that register a point on this line. Drag this up so that it brightens up the core. Make the core as bright as possible, but not too much. Okay, so reasonable depth value. Then bring the cursor back into the picture and go to a darkest area of the Milky Way. Any place is dark is okay. Somewhere here, or maybe here. Try to get a darker area. Maybe here. Okay. So once it's done, you click. There's another point there, which you now drag down. Well, you see the Milky Way suddenly more obvious. You can readjust a bit here and there, these two sliders, to make it even more contrasty. How much you want to do is up to your own preference. Let's go back to layer, and immediately you see there's another layer called curves 1 added. This adjustment which has been done and is now applied onto layer 1 because the mask here, this mask here is mask, mask is white in color. When the mask is white in color, the adjustment what you did just now is totally applied when it's totally white. But when the mask is totally black, it blocks all the adjustment done. Let me show you how to change it to black by Control I. Shortcut key Control I, change it to black. So this was the original condition before the adjustment was done using curves. So you can see that now the effect is totally gone. But when I change it to white, Control I, it's applied completely. So we want to choose how much to be applied. We don't need to be applied completely in one shot like that. We can slowly increase the effect step by step. So the way to do it is go back to black mask again, Control I to change it to black color, and go to your brush tool, select a brush which is of a certain decent size. This size is okay, and hardness of 0%. We want a soft brush, soft edge brush, so that it won't give you a hard edge transition. So once you've selected the brush, click anywhere in the empty area to get rid of that dialog box, and you see a mask. When the mask is highlighted, you make sure your brush is which is selected and has a white in color. In this case, it's a black color mask. How will I know? You see the front one is a black. So to switch it into white, it's just to click this one. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. So by clicking, you will switch over. So now the brush is white color. And what is the opacity of the brush? Opacity means what's the intensity of the white. If it's 0%, that means it's very close to black already. But if it's 25%, that means about one quarter of close to white, close to black. Sorry. So when it's 25%, I'm going to brush through the sky. You see the effect is very subtle. It's not obvious at all, but it's applied, but only 25%. And once you're finished with that, you don't have to do too much. You see a gray color thing there. Huh? That is the effect of this brush at 25%. Change it to 50% for the next step. And again, brush on the sky only. Maybe limit yourself to nearer to the Milky Way now. Okay, no need to go too far off. Alright, just give a few more passes and that's it. You see this mask has changed to a more whiter color on top. Changes to 75%. So 3 steps. Now it's 75%. Okay, and finally change to 100%. And this is where you want to be more targeted, to only click and click onto the Milky Way part. So you see this effect is now applied completely at the Milky Way and gradually decreasing as you go out, as you can see by the mask here. If I toggle this eye icon off, you can see what was the before and after. So this is before mask is applied, the adjustment is done, and when I click on, that means it's applied, but more at the Milky Way. So this is a technique, using brush to build out your effect on the area you want to build up, but not touching the rest. Okay, the rest is all covered with black, which is not affected at all. Okay. So this is always the step I will do for Milky Way to enhance the Milky Way. Next is to make the whole picture slightly more contrasty. I will go to the next slider called levels. Okay. Still the same place, the half black, half white. Above the curve, you have the levels. And with that, you just need to bring this slider in to the rising edge of the histogram. So the rising edge of histogram is somewhere here. Not too much, huh? Like this will be sufficient, I think. Okay? So this effect after dragging the slider in. Sometimes you want to also drag the slider from here down a bit to increase the contrast overall, okay, but don't overdo it. So I guess this is sufficient. I will go back to my layer. You see this and another adjustment done, but now called levels 1. And come with the white mask again, same thing. I can change it to black and targeting only the part where I want it to be brighter. Okay, so still the same brush too with the white in color. I will change the opacity to about 25%. No need to be exact, 25%, and I'll slowly brush again on the top part. Don't overdo. Don't go too far near to the white, the brighter area. Okay, you see this part? More or less done. Okay, and change it to again 50%. So it's just repeat. So just keep repeating, and finally 100%, 75%. Only targeting on the Milky Way and 100%. This step is optional, but it's good to know that you can do that. Add that into your editing. Okay, once it's done, 4 layers are there. Background layer, which was still the original. If I switch off all these 3, it was still the very original one. For some reason you want to go back, then you can come back to here again. Then the rest is delete away. But if you're happy with it, first layer was the duplicate layer, the curves layer, and then the levels. Slowly increment to add on to your contrast of the Milky Way. If you're happy with whatever you have done, all you need to do is to flatten everything into one layer again. Collapse them into one. So it's now locked in. Well, the effect is now locked in if you don't want to change anymore. Okay. With the thing locked in, I want to Control J again to duplicate another layer, so that I work on this layer for these blemishes now. I want to get rid of this plain trail. I want to get rid of this guy. Okay. So to do that, first thing is you must look for a tool called Spot Healing Brush. Spot Healing Brush. Spot Healing Brush is a powerful tool whereby it will remove any spot or blemishes like this. Okay, and the size of the spot can be changed to match the blemishes you want to remove. So in this case, I like to make it smaller by using the open bracket key just next to P, letter P. To make it as small as possible to match the size so that the effect is more subtle. Click on one end of the blemishes and drag to the other end and let go, and it's gone. So this is the very powerful tool whereby you can you can use it to remove star if you don't want that particular star to be too bright. For example, this star here. So make the brush bigger by close bracket, and you can actually remove this star. Gone. Okay, but of course don't want to remove all the star, because this is a picture of the stars. Okay, what about this one? This one is more difficult because it's such a big area, so using this tool may not work straight away. Okay, so I would encourage you to use another tool called Clone Tool, Clone Stamp Tool, like a rubber stamp. And in this case, you need to find a target, a source area, whereby that source area will be used to replace whatever is here. So the source is always somewhere nearby to the thing you want to remove. Okay, so maybe somewhere close by, but not too close, somewhere close by. Okay, so holding at the cursor at this point, holding the alternate key, you click once. Now you have registered this point as my target, as my source, sorry. Then go to your target and do the same thing, but now slowly paint over the line. As you paint over, it is replaced by whatever is on the source's side. One more pass, and done. Now you don't tell people about this was there in the first place. I think no one will know. Okay, but since our eyes already in a way have seen it before, we tend to always pick it up again. This is human, is by nature. Okay, but this is one way to remove some object which are not supposed to be there. Can be a hand, can be another a light from your friend, a tripod head or something. Sometimes it happens, so just remove them. Well, it's almost done. We have the complete, more or less a completed editing done. Usually it is after this you just collapse into one layer again and crop to size 1 and save. But for my case, one additional step is to correct the curvature. This curvature is a bit disturbing because I'm using the fisheye lens. So if yours is not fisheye lens, this part you don't have to worry. So fisheye lens, I'm required to do this. I go to filter, adaptive wide angle, just to show you. And click on anywhere where the curve will start. And then as you drag, the curve automatically will line up for you. This is by default because we have registered the lens used for this shot is using fisheye at a scale of 100% and focal length of, I'm using 15 mm and a full frame camera of 1 crop factor. This has already been done. Okay, so this is the result. Okay, you find that the tower a little bit tilted, so I need to bring it down a little bit. Okay, I can still modify this and bring it down, and now it's more like a upright. The wall is a little bit curvy here, so maybe I also want to drag a line up. Just drag and up, it will straighten itself. So all things can be straightened up very easily. Okay, the head here probably a bit slanted, so one more adjustment. Not that bad, but okay. Let's click OK with this done. Okay, what you're seeing now is two picture overlap. The top picture is the one which I have just adjusted in terms of perspective. So I switch off the bottom layer, you can see those empty spaces. The bottom is compressed and the top is sort of extended. So you see some maybe it's blurriness in the star now on the top because it's been stretched. But we don't have to worry too much about them. All you need to do is to crop away the unwanted area and leave some the interesting area behind. So using the crop tool, make sure the crop tool is in the WH resolution. So that means you'll take any dimension of crop you want. You have freedom to move this up or down. Okay, move this free to the right and move this to the left and move the top down to clear away all the white area. And what you left behind is a proper photo of your tower with the Milky Way. Click the check mark here, which means commit the change, and we have done. That's all you need to do for the last steps. All you need to do is to add your name. So under text tool, horizontal text tool, click anywhere and write down your name. So I will write Raymond. Simple, neat, simple and easy to write, or to type rather. And once you've done that, you click the move tool so you can reposition the where you want it to be, and that's it. So we have now 1, 2, 3 layer. The background layer, I can switch it back and you can see this is a complete product. We can collapse all these 3 layers into one by the same method. Layer, flatten. Once it's done, file, save as, and make sure it's saved as a JPEG file. You can save under the same file name 1050, but it's a good practice to put something behind so that you know that it has been edited by Photoshop. Okay, so once you press the key, the edited word there, click save. And if it's already there, I mean I've already saved earlier, so it's there. I can replace it again. Okay, then the quality, leave it as a 10 maximum. The file size is quite a large one, 6.7 mega, which is good enough for print if you want to print it, okay, because it's high resolution photo. But in order to post in Facebook or share with your friend, you don't have to have this big size. You can go to file image, go to image size, and change the pixel resolution to 100 pixel. Usually 72 pixel per inch is good enough for screen, to use it for Facebook and Instagram already. But I would still reduce to 100 will do. Okay, you can reduce to 72. The size is even smaller. It's now about 33% of the original. So click OK. And this is a smaller version, which I can enlarge a bit now to let you see. It's no different. Quality wise, it's still excellent. All you need to do is to click Save As again. Save another copy of a smaller version. So under Edited, I will click a S button at the end. Click Yes, and it's already there because I earlier have a copy there. So click Yes. Replace, and it is now only a 715 kilobyte only. Reasonably small, but it's still a lot of details. Click OK. And that's it. Yeah, the editing is done in this manner. Okay, so I hope you have learned something, and maybe can try out yourself and see whether it works with you with your photo. Okay, thank you and bye.